Rawbush here, out in the garage playing with the window motor. A little nicer day today. Kind of been cold lately. But basically I've got 2 coils made and installed in the machine now. I had to bend the second one a little different than the first one to get it to fit in there. But I've got them both in there. They don't rub the shaft. Probably a little bit different design on the jig next time. If you wanted to try to get, 3 to 6 coils in there. But what we're doing now, originally I wanted to, use one as a motor, one as a generator to power the motor. And that's why I wanted 2 coils at first. So I've got that, and I put them in at 90 degrees apart to put them out of phase with the 60-degree magnet spacing on the rotor. Then I found Mike's motor on YouTube, and he said he was running his on a capacitor, and after about 65 pages of forum post, comes to find out it was probably a hidden battery and just a dupe on us. So first I was a little discouraged and was going to go back to working the 2 coil method, and I hooked it up to the scope, and I've been playing with both the bipolar sequential circuit, the full one, and splitting them in half and getting different results either way. But this full circuit is very interesting in the way that it operates, and I'll show that out to you on the scope. But what we're going to do is we're going to feed it 12 volts from an outsourced external power supply, and it does charge the capacitor and the circuit runs there. So we're keeping the capacitor charged from the wall current. We're not running on a capacitor. Like any other Bendini motor, it has to be kind of spin start. You can hear it taking off and those coils popping. It gets up to speed fairly quickly. Mind you, this is only 1 coil. We're using just this 1 coil. This one's hooked up to nothing. But so we're running pretty decent there. We're gonna put the camera down here and watch the scope. Let's see if we can zoom in there a little better. Now, I don't see if you can see the spikes as let's turn down a little bit. Let's turn that. It's running a little lower than it used to be. But you can see, you can kind of dictate the speed, that it's kind of not really going fast or slower. It's kind of maintained a speed. Now when I shut power off to it, you'd expect the flywheel to kind of maintain it and then slowly drop down. And that's getting dimmer. And eventually come to a stop. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the power, and we're going to watch the scope. Now, you'll notice it slows down a little bit, and it speeds back up a little bit. Slows down a little bit, speeds back up. It's acting like a generator and a motor. Now, I'll do that again. Let me get that back up to speed. Actually, while we have this here, this is very interesting too. The slow start, the feedback in the trigger circuit gives you multiple pops like that, and then it starts to single trigger. So we're getting back up to speed here. Like we're at speed, and it's pretty much there. Now disconnect the power. You actually can see it a second after I disconnect power. It actually goes faster per second. You can see it's fighting itself back and forth. It wants to charge and run, charge and run. Now that is we'll let's fire that back up and show that one more time. The scope here is actually set at 5 volts per division, and the probe is at 10x, so it's 50 volts per division, and it used to be just a hair higher than that a little bit ago, but it used to be about 300 volts. Alright, do this one more time. We're going to disconnect the power. It's speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. You're watching these pulses here. See how that one wants to stay up and go back? If it's slowing down, it's heading this way. If it's speeding up, it's heading that way. And we can even do this by hand without the power. We're going to put the probe on the 1x so it shows up a little easier. I'm going to spin it up by hand. Slowing down, speeding up. Slowing down, speeding up. Now, I don't know, am I mistaken at what I'm seeing on the scope? You know, there's no time refresh rate going on or anything, same setting, just disconnecting power and watching. Hopefully that showed up decent on the tape. If not, we'll try to record another one. But the little window motor that thinks it can. I've got some other ideas on how to slip some of this charge back into the system. You know, I still think, I'm still convinced it can be done on one coil, so I'm going to try that for a little while longer. And if that all fails, then we'll start using the second coil as a generator. But I think it's fully possible to do it on one coil if it's timed right, from what I'm seeing. I'll try to do some other videos on what it runs like on the half circuit. There's a lot more radiant out on the output side of the circuit. Mind you, that's not even hooked up to anything from the bridge. It's just kind of hanging out there. It doesn't, I think it has to be switched to really feed back in the circuit. It's kind of just hardwired in there like a loop, but it doesn't neither help nor hinder too much, really. I didn't notice any difference with it hooked up or not. So by all means, there should be an output there that's available as well. When I hook that up to the half circuit, I can get a 60 watt bulb to heat up pretty decent, with the same amount of input here, the 15 volts at 1/100th of an amp or whatever. But anyway, that's what I'm up to. We're gonna keep chugging along, keep you guys posted. But we're gonna see if we can't slip some other power back there and feed some of this back and get this puppy to run itself on one coil. This is Rawbush. Peace.